For college, I went to a place called the Virginia Military Institute, VMI for short. If you're not familiar with it, imagine a military academy without the requirement to commission in the military. What is required, though, is everything else: mental toughness, physical endurance, emotional resilience, and psychological grit. VMI is designed to push you to your absolute limits, and it does that very intentionally. Before classes officially begin, incoming freshmen have an option to attend something called the Summer Transition Program, or STP. It's a month-long head start. You take a college course, you do physical training, you learn the campus, and most importantly, you get a chance to interact with upperclassmen who've already survived what you're about to walk into. During one of these opportunities, there was a session to have a female gathering. All females, no males in the room, a chance to talk honestly about what it meant to be a woman at VMI, the challenges, the expectations, and the pressure. At the end, we were invited to ask questions, and someone asked a really important question. What's the best advice you'd give someone who wants to make it to graduation? A senior stood up, and I'll never forget what she said. She said, "You have to make a pre-decision. Not a wish, not a hope, a decision." She carried on to say, before you arrive in August, you have to decide that you're going to make it, and that nothing will change your mind. You pre-decide you're going to make it through Hell Week, pre-decide you'll make it through freshman year, what they call rat year, pre-decide you're going to make it through sophomore, junior, and senior year. You're going to visualize your class ring on your hand. You're going to visualize the diploma in your hands. And once you've decided, that's it. No negotiating with yourself later. And that concept, it stuck with me far beyond VMI. In fact, it quietly became one of my most powerful tools in life. I started using it everywhere. When I begin a new project at work, I pre-decide how I'm going to respond when something goes wrong, because something always does. Before difficult conversations, I pre-decide my attitude. Before a long meeting, I pre-decide how I'm going to show up. I even pre-decide how I'm going to feel when things don't go according to plan. Because here's what many of us get stuck on. We don't decide ahead of time. And then life happens. We're tired, we're hungry, we're stressed, and we're overwhelmed. And suddenly, emotions are driving the bus. Now, to be clear, emotions aren't bad. They're human. They're necessary, but in high-pressure moments, emotions can overpower logic. And that's when we make decisions that we later regret. I'll be honest, I'm an overthinker, so this might not be everyone's natural wiring, but I do know this. When you make a decision in advance, when you're well-rested, clear-headed, and calm, you're setting future you up for success. That pre-decision shows up right when you need it. It cuts through the noise, it simplifies the moment, and it removes the internal debate. Instead of asking, what should I do right now? You're simply executing a decision you already made. We already do this in so many areas of life. We pre-decide not to drink and drive. We pre-decide to say no to drugs. We pre-decide to hand over our keys if we've had too much to drink. Why? Because we know our judgment will be compromised in the moment. So why don't we do this more often? With our time, our energy, our work, our relationships? Pre-deciding can look like planning. It can look like batching your work. It can look like thinking through what might go wrong and deciding in advance how you'll respond. And no, this doesn't mean becoming a robot or never being spontaneous. It just means being intentional. So here's what I invite you to do. First, look backwards. Think about the last few weeks. What went well, what didn't? Where could you have done something wrong or seen something coming? Ask yourself, how did I want to respond? And how did I actually respond? Then look forward. Look at the next few weeks, meetings, family commitments, new projects, hard conversations, and ask yourself this. If this goes well, how do I want to show up? Or maybe more importantly, if this goes sideways, what's my move? Pre-decide. If your workout gets thrown off, what's plan B? If a storm keeps you from going to the grocery store, what's the backup? If a meeting gets tense, how will you respond? You don't need a plan for every possible scenario, just enough to give future you a guide. So today, maybe right after this, take 30 seconds or maybe a minute and look at your day and make one pre-decision about how you're going to act going forward. Because sometimes the difference between quitting and finishing, between reacting and responding, between just surviving and actually succeeding, it's simply deciding before the moment arrives. Pre-decide now so you don't have to later.